Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and we are here today at the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage, and we're here with Executive Director Lynda Bender. Thanks so much for talking with us, Lynda.
Oh, thanks, Tom. It's always great to have you here.
It is great to be here. This is an exciting exhibition you have on Israeli arts and culture, featuring Bezalel On Tour. Explain what this is. This is a major institution of learning in Israel,
yes,
isn't it?
This is a wonderful institution. The Bezalel Academy of Arts and Design is celebrating 106 years. It opened in 1906, and that's of course before there was an Israel. This is in the very first period of Zionism and coming to Israel, and it was the first institution of higher learning in Israel, and it's an art school.
Not just an art school, but actually the first institution of higher learning, of education. And arts has been so important to this culture.
That's correct, yes. Arts are always some of the things that we use to reflect our cultural heritage. And there was a tremendous interest in the early days of Palestine, in the early part of the 20th century, to carve out a Jewish identity. And they believed that art was a way to do that, and that's why the school was founded.
And a lot of people around the world know that arts defines who we are as human beings and as a culture. We do it here in the United States. Sometimes I feel like we don't quite get that as much. We don't support our arts as much in general. However, around the world, they do support their arts as culture. Talk about some of your favorites here in this exhibition, because it's so broad, isn't it? It's so diverse.
Well, what we have here is the work of the last 5 years of the best students of the Bezalel Academy. And they have art of very many different kinds of media. We have fine art, painting and drawing, we have photography, we have architecture, fashion, jewelry, industrial design. So there's a wide variety of different kinds of art forms to look at. And these are really young people. These are students who have recently graduated. So what we're seeing is a vibrant, creative, contemporary Israel from the point of view of its young people who are interested in expressing themselves through their artistic creations.
So talk about some of these cool pieces that really talk and speak to you yourself.
Well,
personally.
We're going to look at a few things here of different kinds of media so we can get an idea of what the show looks like, because there are so many different things here. And this all comes directly to us from Jerusalem. And the first thing I wanted to draw your attention to are these beautiful pieces of ceramic. And this was a project that this artist wanted to explore a variety of textures and explore things that look like they were exploding. And we have some very, very beautiful ceramic here, and you can see that it's made of porcelain, and it also is made of porcelain-infused paper. And as she put it into the kiln, these leaves began to open up. And of course, she wasn't exactly sure what she would get when it was started, but they're quite interesting. One of the things for me that I like about this is they seem to defy gravity a little bit, because they're bigger on the top than they are on the bottom.
Right.
And I'm always interested in things that seem a little off-kilter, or things that look like they shouldn't,
right,
or are in the wrong kind of perspective. So I think these are a very interesting look at this particular kind of ceramic art.
That's beautiful. You've got a huge variety here. Let's look at something else. I know this piece that you want to show us next is totally different. It's really music
Yes, I
oriented.
wanted to show you a piece of industrial art, which is very, very different. And let's go over here and we'll look at a little bit of the exhibition as we move through the floor. And you'll see that we do have some paintings over here. We have a variety of different kinds of three-dimensional objects. And then we have some things over here on tables, some very interesting variety of things. And the last one, oh, the video seems to have gone out. This one is a really interesting new piece that I find just fascinating. It is a new music format. This is something in industrial design. Now, oh, here's our video, and our young people are playing with this object. This artist decided that he was interested in what's happened to objects that we hold in our hands, especially those objects that have been replaced by technology and that now live in our computer screens, that we can't hold on to them. And albums, of course, and music are something that have a long history of things we can hold on to and share. I have a big album collection that's old and very precious to me,
That's
and I'm
right.
sure you do too. Well,
And
look
you
at
look
this.
at the album covers and the album art and the liner notes, and that's what's missing for kids today. And it's amazing what they've done here. And this is such a cool thing. They've got these cool players that you would stick these little album discs in.
So he's created these little album discs, and you can see it on the screen a little bit, some of the kids using these objects, and how the album discs fit into these very unique players some of which look like jewelry.
Right.
So that you can wear them and take them with you.
It's like a key ring here that he's got, and he puts the little disc in.
And the disc is the album, and he can just flip through the discs. And of course, he's the wonderful world of cyberspace. He's getting through digital media, he's able to access the music on these things, and it becomes an object you can actually own, and something that's very beautiful. So you might want to keep it and share it with future generations as your collection of music, the way we used to collect our albums.
Right, and we've lost that whole object-oriented aspect of music now because it's so ephemeral and it's just digital, and this is a wonderful way to bring it back. I wish this was available. It is so cool.
I think this kid has a great idea, and I hope that somebody
brilliant.
sees it, some American entrepreneur sees it here and decides that they would like to manufacture this thing.
Exactly.
I just think it's fascinating. So let's take a look at something that's a little more in the fine arts range, and that would be a piece of photography.
I'm amazed at how much of digital, video, film, photography, sculpture, as well as the traditional paintings and works on the wall.
Well, that's what our young people are interested in. That's what they see every day. For them, media is about things that move and things that are lively and things that are interactive. And you can see if you look through the whole gallery, we have a whole variety of things like that. Not only are there the computer screens that will demonstrate many of the industrial products that students have created, but there's a room in the back of animations, which are quite interesting. And we have a video fashion show on the back wall as well.
Right. That's cool. So talk about this photograph, which is really interesting.
Well, I just find this a truly interesting piece to look at. Art is about what you feel it's about. It's about how you interpret something and what makes it interesting to you. And that's what's really wonderful about having contemporary art in any museum, and certainly in a museum like ours, is to think about what these works mean to the people who make them. And this is work made by young Israelis, and of course they're working with the environment that they see around them. This piece is called Armored Truck. And before the sign went up, I was standing here and I didn't know what it was, and I was trying to figure out, well, what is this? And I really wasn't quite sure. This is a black and white photograph. It was taken at night, but of course the artist has manipulated the light quite a lot in this, so it has a very mysterious kind of quality to it. And the object in the middle, I really didn't know until the sign went up what that was supposed to be. And I was trying to figure out what it was, and it had many items about it, or many pieces about it that seemed to be a dwelling of some kind. It's got the peak on the roof, so I was wondering, and it's got the door that's lit up, and I was trying to figure out if people actually lived in this object or how it got here. And that, I find, is what is so fascinating about an interaction with contemporary art. Is what do you think it is, and why do you think it's there, and what do you think it's used for? And this is in a very almost pastoral kind of setting.
Sure. Yeah, it's almost like an old mobile home, possibly. It looked very domestic, as you say, and safe, like a home would be, and yet knowing that the title is Armored Truck,
well, exactly,
it makes you think twice, and of course the environment, the political environment in Israel, the cultural environment. This is a very mysterious piece.
Exactly. So this object has been sitting out here in this field for a very long time, and how it became in this artist's work sort of symbolic of things that might have been there, of our relationship with our built environment, our relationship with the natural environment.
Right.
And, I'm sure he's affected because of where he lives and the world that he lives in with the history of his country, and how the things that he sees that are, discarded objects that have to do with the long-term war.
And what's nice about this exhibition is you've also involved the Cleveland Institute of Art, right?
Yes.
And so you've got them also as part of this, and there's some work here that we'd like to look at.
We're very, very happy about that. One of the things that we did with this exhibition, and we always do here at the Maltz Museum, is to try and bring in a local component. Why is the piece that we have in our gallery here important to Clevelanders, or how does it relate to the Cleveland scene?
Sure.
And we collaborated with the Cleveland Institute of Art. We're going to go over there now and take a look at some of those objects.
Because as you say, these students, and they're all about the same age, are responding to their own environment. They're similar in many ways, and yet they're so different because they're halfway around the world from each other, right?
Exactly. So we have a number of works of art here in the beginning of the gallery as you first come in that are from students who have recently graduated from the Cleveland Museum of Art. And the one that I want to draw your attention to today is this installation, which has a statement that goes with it that's very much like the mission statement of the Maltz Museum. It asks the question, what if all of us did everything in our power to make the world a better place for everyone? And that certainly is something that we always think about when we create our exhibitions here at the museum.
Exactly. Well, this has been great. Talk just for a moment about the Maltz Museum itself and what it means to the general public, because while this work is specifically from Israel, really your theme is about tolerance and about cultures working together.
Yes, we have a very strong commitment to inclusion, diversity, and tolerance, and to bring people and communities together. The Maltz Museum is a place where you can find out about Jewish history, about Jewish tradition. You can also find out about the relationship of the Jewish community to larger communities here in Cleveland and around the world. And part of this exhibition is to show that uniqueness, that way that we come together, what the things that are alike about us and the things that are unique about us, and how we can create a world where people have a better place to live.
And in this case, you're able to compare and contrast here not only our local community, which is great, but also see how students, young people are responding to their contemporary world. It's a very high level of quality of this art. It's amazingly high level. I mean, this is something you'd see on, and it's touring nationally, right, this show, so it's a...
Yes, it's been to a few places, but this is the first time that all of the pieces have been able to be shown. The other galleries that it was shown in were too small.
Right.
So some of them have had the 2D work, some of them have had the 3D work, but this is the first place that has had both of those together. The thing that I was really impressed with when we began to uncrate and started the installation of this work was the quality of the work and the variety. And I think one of the things that people often forget when they read about Israel in American news is that it is a creative and vibrant place, that it's a cutting-edge culture, that Israel has been the leader in technology, some of the art forms, and many of the graduates of Bezalel have gone on to international careers, as we hope our CIA students will do as well.
Design, fashion, all of that in the arts.
Exactly.
Is huge. There's also some interesting elements. There's an artist talk coming up. You've got films that are being exhibited. You've got a big community day in November. So it's going to be exciting for the next few weeks.
Oh, absolutely.
And all the way through January 13th.
January 13th. We like to have a lot of different programs so people have different access points to come in and see these exhibitions, whether you're interested in conversations about Israeli art, whether you want a little bit more information about music or dance, or to meet some Israeli students who are here as cultural ambassadors, who will be with us on the 11th on that Sunday afternoon to tell you a little bit about culture in Israel. There are lots of different ways to experience the Maltz Museum.
Well, thanks for taking time, Lynda. This is really amazing, and hopefully people will come out and check this out for themselves.
Oh, I hope so. We're just getting started with this exhibition, so there is time, but don't wait too long.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tom. It's always great to have you here.
Thank you. Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.